Hello friends, it's Sherry from Turquoise Dreaming. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me. I'm working with some of the sewing patterns that I picked up at the estate sale last weekend, and I showed you some things that I had picked up, in that estate sale on my Thrifty Thursday this week. So I was going to kind of maybe do a little flip through of the patterns, but then I kind of just was working with some of them. So I thought I'd show you them a few of them that way, and then I'll maybe do a flip through later. But here's two of them I'm working with. And as an example of some more that I got that I picked out to use in this journal here's what I already cut a piece out of here. I will show you this piece right here. I've got the 5 signatures together. I just want to add these pattern pockets. And I think the signatures will be done with as far as the pages, and then I'm going to add some trims and things. But these two ladies right here, I fussy cut out of this pattern. And it was so weird because these ladies don't look like they belong with this lady right here, as far as she's like kind of like, she's like a photograph, and they're more of an illustration. And so this is kind of like an example of a pattern I wouldn't use for a cover, because it doesn't have a cohesive look where it has just maybe a bunch of these ladies, like maybe 3 of these, that's what I would want on a cover, not something so different like that. And it also is very tattered. So yeah, I used those ladies there. And see, it was all wrinkled like this. I just cut them out. So that's one. This had a lady right here, and it was just this. It was no envelope. It was just the front of an envelope. That's all that I got on that envelope from the estate sale. But I liked it. I knew I could just use it to cut out the girls here. And this girl right here was right there. So I fussy cut her out, and that's going to be the beginning signature because her colors kind of match the colors here in my papers that are inside the covers. So that was that one. See, it's always if it's even if it's tattered and things like that, if you see these patterns, you could still, they still have potential. This is another one I pulled out. I haven't used this one yet for anything. Here's another one. Super cute. I think a lot of these are from the 70s. Here's another one that's very tattered. See, it's all kind of ripped and, but I can cut these ladies out. So that's why I got it. And then this one I have used. I'm going to show you the 2 I've used. So I put one, let's see, did I put one in this signature? Nope, I put one in this signature. So this one I did. So what I did to both of these was, and we're going to do one together, but I reinforced it with a piece of copy paper to make it nice and sturdy. I cut the ends off because that's where the pockets are going to be, here and here. But I wanted them to be nice and sturdy for being able to put things in and out without maybe ripping the pattern, the original pattern envelope. There was a name here, so I had cut these little peace signs out of fabric. Since this was 70s, I had these sitting here in my craft room. I was like, that is perfect. So I put those over the name, and then I sewed it back together here at the top on this one. So I'm using it as a centerpiece because I was thinking about using it as an envelope inside the signature, but that would cover up the ladies, some of the ladies, the middle lady anyway. See how it doesn't have the same effect as if you have it here. And it looks, oh, beautiful pattern, right? So that's, I decided to put it in the middle of that one. And this one will be in the middle too. I did the same thing, except this pattern, that one was a Simplicity, I believe. This one's a McCall's, and it was a different shape. So the front part here was actually kind of like, well, it wasn't bigger, but I cut off a piece here to fit it on the back here. I cut off a piece to fit it onto the 8.5 by 11 piece of copy paper. And I kind of glued all the pieces that were coming apart before, but like I see what this seam, or where these 2 pieces meet, it needs some glue. So, I just had done that before, and can do it after, whatever. And just make sure all those pieces, all these like little, where the pieces meet are, if they're coming apart, I just glue them back down. I think I got enough glue in there. Yeah, so I just glued it all back together, and I glued it on some copy paper. And then, so since I cut off a piece on this side to fit on the 8.5 by 11 paper, it made this side shorter or not as wide. So then I couldn't just fold it in half. So this yellow was at the top of the pattern, and I just folded it over and glued it down. Instead of sewing this one, I didn't have to sew it because I had that flap. I could just fold over, and I think it adds a nice touch here, the yellow on this kind of plain, chart there. So I like that. And then there was the name on this one. This lady wrote her name on a lot of the patterns, or someone's name. There were different names on them. So I don't know if she exchanged patterns with people or what, but they shared them maybe. Not returnable, it says. So this was from the measuring tape I brought home from the estate sale. It said, part of it said, help Sears assure you of a proper fit. I thought that was cool, and it was a thin plastic one with some stitching on it. So I put that over the name there right at the top. So it covers up the name and adds a little decoration there. So this one is going to also go in the middle of a signature. And we can put it in. Let's see, let's skip one. Let's see, I've got 1, 2. We'll skip this one because I am doing 2 different things for the middle of the signatures. And I'll show you the other thing I'm doing for the middle of the signatures. And so there'll be 3 like this with patterns and 2 the other way. So, I mean, this could be, is this upside down? This is upside down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to go through these pages and make sure they're right side up before I sew it in, but there we go. That would be a pretty center, but I'm picturing this here. So I just want to fold it a little bit and get a little bit of a crease here so it can fold nicely and evenly here in the middle. And I can stitch it in here on the crease. And then I'll have 2 pockets with these cool ladies, these cool retro ladies here on this signature. So that one's going to be like that. And then we'll have one more. And I mentioned in my Thrifty Thursday video that she even sewed clothes for men. And so that's, I think I already showed, did I already show you this? Maybe I didn't, but that's one of the men's. Aren't they like a groovy looking there with their vests and their bell-bottom pants? I mean, can you stand it? It's so cool, right? So let's do this one. Oh, let me show you the other thing I'm doing to 2 of the signatures. This one has it here. I'm going to make a centerpiece like this, center page. So this is 2 girls in their pajamas that I cut out from one of the pattern envelopes. And so aren't they cute? And I love her shoes. She's got some cute little slippers there on her with her PJs. And I left a chair. She was holding onto a chair and has her knee on it. So I left the chair with her. And then on the back of this one, this is coffee dyed paper. And then on the back, I used some scraps that cut off to make pockets on this side. So those are sewn together. But yeah, I'm going to do that to 2 of the signatures. And the other 3 are going to get an envelope. So I think that's fun. So let's see. Well, I don't need to know where I'm going to put it right now. Okay, there's one. We'll put one back here. Okay, so let's put this out of the way and I'll show you. This is simple, so it's not really a tutorial. It's just a craft with me. But this is how I'm doing it. I'm taking all the stuff here. I have a separate little basket where I'm going to, I think I'm going to reorganize my patterns because I have so many now that I'm going to reorganize them in a way that I can have them all together, so when I want one, I can go through them easily. And let's see, this is over here. And then the extra pattern tissue from the envelopes that I've used, I'll have also in the same place, but in a separate little container or something, so that I can just grab tissue or pattern paper, whatever I need. So I'm just really reinforcing these because they're I mean, they're not thick paper, but it's been around for a long time, but I am afraid if I'm, make it into a tuck spot, it might just eventually kind of rip and, come apart as far as putting things in and out of it, maybe. So I just want to make sure it's nice and sturdy. So I'm just cutting off, to start, I'm just cutting off the flap. I mean, it's all tattered anyway, but all the pieces, I I'm cutting off of these envelopes, pretty much no matter what it is, especially the flaps, because they can have cool things. I have one over here with a measuring tape on it, so that's cool. You know, some of them have, this one says Simplicity Fashion Magazine, or ask for that, and some numbers, and the original price, size 42. So I thought those pieces would be fun to use in a collage. So this is all here, and I'm cutting off either the top or the bottom, cutting off both sides. Well, this side's already cut off, but are open, so I'm cutting off this side. So let's see what's on the back here, because I've got plenty of room there. So I'm trying to, like, this is pink on the back here, this chart, so maybe cut right next to this line so I can have that pink line if possible. So there's so many things you can do with patterns, and I'm hoping to do another video before I finish this journal of things like you can do with patterns, sewing patterns. So I'm trying to decide. The measuring tape on this pattern is over here, and that's on the bottom. So let's cut the top, because I want to make sure I keep that. I really kind of love those. So those measuring tapes on these things. So I'm just going to cut a small sliver here off the top just to open it up. And I want to keep this little thing here. It's coming loose, but I want to keep it, so I don't want to cut that off. Okay, so that's the sliver. That goes in the trash. And then I'm going to look at it and just see what I'm left with here, and kind of maybe glue this back together a little bit, like so. This is flipping up here. Let me get this going. I've been using this, but I left my pin out for a couple minutes here, so let me get it going. Yeah, there we go. See that little flip there. I'm just going to glue it all back together, give it some new life here, a new life as a tuck spot or pockets or whatever you want to call it in this journal. You'll see this piece is coming up here, so let's glue that back down. That's the measuring tape. And let's get it all flattened out there, the paper. Glue this back down. Just get a bunch of glue under there. Get it all kind of mended as much as possible. Okay, and this piece right here, coming loose. So yeah, just kind of mend it. Get it all glued back together here, so that when I glue it down, hopefully this will be all, everything will be glued down. But if I miss something, I can always glue it later or whatever. So, all right. So now let's see if it fits on here. So 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. People in the UK, do you call that A5? I think that's what I hear Tracy Fox saying, A5, or the people that live in the UK. They say 8.5 by 11 is A5, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm learning these conversions as I listen to the people in the UK. I don't know if I'll ever learn the meters, but maybe at least that conversion, A5 and 8.5 by 11, things like that, A6, all those measurements. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this down, because we're going to cut the extra white off here when we're done. So in order to, not use up all my time here, I just glued half at a time. So that seemed to work out well, because, you don't want your glue to dry before you get it down here on your paper, for one thing. And I'm using art glitter glue, so that it dries really quickly. So if you do half at a time, that works out well for that. So, if I didn't use this like this and reinforced it like this, you might have to, actually cut off all these tattered pieces. But this way, I'm putting new paper behind it. So, and if it's showing, like we're going to see, the other ones didn't show any white through. Like this might, we'll see if we cut that off, or if we don't, if the white is showing through, we can distress it, which I haven't had to do yet. They've all been solid enough to not really do any distressing, the other two. So let's see how this one turns out. I'm getting it right up to the edge here, so the edge is just really flat and glued down when I put this on the paper. And all these tattered edges too, and in the fold here, right up to the fold. Here's a bunch of tattered pieces. I want to make sure they're glued down. Edges here, a little kind of like tattered edges. Okay, let's do this half. Oh, you know what? Let me put a little bit more glue right here. It looks like there's nothing here, and you want glue all over. I did it. That's how I did the others. I got a lot of glue all over. The glue did not show through or anything, or make wrinkles or anything like that. So let's do it. Right up to the edge, right up to the corner if possible, if you can get it up there. All right. Okay, everything flat down. So since the pattern, it's not the glue that's making wrinkles, it's the pattern, the tatterness of the pattern. So we'll see what we end up doing with that. So you can always, if it's too tattered to do something like this, you can always cut out the people and make tags and journal cards, or fussy cut the people and use them like I did on on the pages of your journal, or somewhere on the cover even. You can use the fussy cut images or illustrations on the cover of a journal. On another, maybe you have some layering going on scrap of paper or fabric or something. That would be fun. So yeah, I'm hoping to, I didn't want to hesitate to use them, because after this estate sale now, I have so many that I'm like, well, Sherry, you really got to get on the ball and use some of these patterns, because yeah, I have too many. Too many to store, like I'm going to have to reorganize them. I'm going to also reorganize my desk, which I have over there. It's a little desk, and I want to reorganize the top of it and make it more functional, because right now I have my ephemera over there, and I kind of just put things over there that I'm kind of, projects I want to work on, or that I intend on working on, or just some things I need out for my current project maybe, or something like that. So I want to reorganize that. It's just a little too, and plus my ephemera, since I've been doing like Roxy's weekly challenge and 52 tags handmade, my ephemera is getting out of hand, my ephemera. So, all right, so this goes a little bit over the edge here, and it's just really blank, so I can cut that off, no problem. But I want it to be even over here, so when I fold it, it folds evenly. So let's do that first on this one. You just kind of have to use your common sense with each one and see how you want to do it. So let me see. If I cut that off, yeah, that will be actually perfect if I cut that off. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to make the paper meet here. Make the paper meet the copy paper. Okay, that's together. I'm going to make the fold here. And I'm going to cut that extra piece off the top here. See, there it is, coming together. So cut this extra piece. I don't want to fold it over anything. There's nothing there to save. It's just kind of blank space. So I don't see any reason why I can't cut that off. Getting glue on my scissors. Okay, so see, it's nice and flat now. Now see, we can cut this white off, because that's just the envelope's ending there, and it ends way down there here. So if I were to cut down there, it would cut off. So I don't want to cut off the simplicity. I wouldn't mind making that a little smoother though there. So I can cut down as far as I want on this side. See all that room there? But this side I can't, so I'm going to cut right at the top of the simplicity. And see how even we get it. See, that looks a lot better on the front there now. And there's no name on this one. We don't need to cover anything up as far as that goes. Here's a little bit of extra envelope sticking out here that we don't need. So at this point, all I'm going to do is maybe, let's see, since I hadn't distressed any of the others, let's see how that turns out. Let's see. I think I cut this a little crooked here maybe or something. There's a little bit of a curve going on here that I don't like. In that back, I don't like that being white. So we're going to do something with that actually. Okay, so let's do the front first as far as covering up this white. So we'll put a little bit of distressing there. See how that covers it up. It's brown, but then we can just go down here and do this, distress the whole thing, and make it all kind of blend in. See, because we need some down here too. So we distressed all along the bottom and in the corners a lot, because that was where it was more tattered and the paper was gone from the envelope. Maybe a little bit here, just to, don't have to, but just to cover up some white there. So everything else looks decent. Let me do this over here too, because either I have to cut more off or do this. So let's do this for now. And so I'll sew it together with a zigzag stitch at the top here after the video. But let's go ahead and just cover up any white. Okay, so that, I would say the front is done, but the back now is good. Let's just dress around the edges here too. And so since we did the front, might as well do the back. And so, you know, you've got a double thickness now of paper. I think the copy paper is actually quite a bit thicker than the actual pattern was. We could just cut this off. We don't have to keep that, actually. Let's do that. Because otherwise I'm just going to cover up with some measuring tape or something. And I don't think there's anything wrong with cutting this up. That's how the envelope was. So, and that'll actually allow for, let me see how it looks though. So you still see the white from the paper, don't you? Yes, you do, Sherry. Okay, so, but it still allows you to get in there. Okay. And then that, and this will be sewn. But I still don't like that white. So let's see. Maybe we'll just cover it up with a piece of this paper. You know, little paper. I think that would be a good idea. Just use a piece of this paper, measuring tape. And I'll glue it down. And then we'll be done with this envelope, except for my sewing part. So cut that there. That's an easy fix. And let me check my time, because I got plenty of time. So we'll finish this up. This is just really just paper. This is not plastic measuring tape or cloth or anything. It's a paper one. I think it's the only paper one I've ever found, but I was glad I found it. If they're not too expensive, I usually pick these up and throw them into my sewing journal stash when I find the measuring tapes, the older ones. So at thrift stores, you know, they're usually not that much, but sometimes, you know, some people might think they're more valuable than they are, depending on, if you go to an antique store or something, they might be more. Okay, but I've gotten all mine at thrift stores, or I probably picked up some well, I did pick up one at that last estate sale, so I'm sure I've picked up a couple of them at least at estate sales. So since we're covering up the white, I want to make sure that I get that right to the edge. And there we go. That's what it looks like. See, it looks like it's part of the envelope, doesn't it? Okay, but I see some white right here, so I either got to cut that off or distress it some more. So let's cut it off. I think it looks like it needed to be cut off. Okay, so that's good. It's all glued down. It's got 2 layers there. I think I would like to distress. I just see the white edge there on the top. So I think I would like to distress that, just that white edge right there. Knock that down to be blend more with the whole look here. And that, so any more white showing, I think that is it. So that's the back. This is the front. And there we go. We gave it new life. So, you know, there's the inside. I'm going to sew it down now and put it, it will be in that last signature I said. So let's see what it will look like real quick before I stop the video. But it will look like, got some groovy guys there. They're groovy because they're living in the 70s. Okay, so let's just fold it right in half. I'll take it out and sew it after the video, and you'll see it later on when it's sewn. I would definitely be showing it to you. But very cool. So it'll look like that. Isn't that neat? Do you love it? That is so cool. Wow. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go sew that. So I will see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed. Let me get this out of the way. Maybe my video will actually get a picture and I won't have to make a thumbnail, huh? That does happen once in a great while. If I leave stuff alone long enough here under the camera, I can actually get a picture without having to take a separate picture. How we look, how we look. All right, let's see how we do. Get all the junk out of the way here and the scraps. You know, my trouble is I just can't stay still long enough to get a good picture. So anyway, thanks for watching. I don't want to go over, and everyone have a great Saturday. Happy crafting.